Hi everyone. So in this session, what we will do is we will see how I can move my resources from one resource group to another resource group. Now, again, I am on the Microsoft official document. So now here there is a scenario which says, okay, how to move your resources across the subscriptions. Now, if you see here, there is a source and there is a target subscription. Now, in this case, we will so there are different ways to do it. One scenario is you move the resource group, or you move the resources from one resource group to another resource group which belongs to the same subscription. And then the second scenario is you are moving across the subscription. This is the second scenario. So now to keep it simple, what we will do is in the same subscription we will try to move a resource from resource group 1 to resource group 2. So as you see here in this diagram, which is shown by this is a Microsoft diagram which Microsoft has given on their official site. So now here my database resource was in the resource group 1, and they are trying to move this database from resource group 1 to resource group 2 where I have my VM as a resource 1. So the initial design was both should be in a different resource group, but due to some reason, maybe I don't have a quota here in this specific resource group, which was maybe in the central US and this is in the east US. So now I have to move this specific DB to the same resource group which belongs to east US, for example. Or maybe if I'm not able to tag, or there is some scenario where I'm not able to retain my resource in this resource group, so I want to move this. So Microsoft Azure has given the way to go and move your resources within the same subscription as well as across the subscription. So now we will see how exactly we can do this by doing a demo, a very simple demo in the Azure portal. And if you go down, they have like given a very clear steps how to move your resource from the by using the portal, and they have given exactly all the steps. So I will give the link in my in my video in the description below, so you can go through these steps. So now what I will do is let me go to the portal, and in the portal let's see go to the resource groups. So now I have already created two resource group, which is the source resource group and the target resource group here. So now what I will do is, right now both the resource groups are empty, so I will go and create a virtual machine in my resource group 1, and then the same virtual machine, to keep the demo simple, I will move the same virtual machine from resource group 1 to resource group 2. And both the resource group 1 and the resource group 2, they're in the two different locations. So what I mean by this is, if I go in the resource group, yeah, if you see my source resource group is in the location East US, and my target resource group is in the location Central US. So now what I will do is I will create a virtual machine. This virtual machine I will create in the source resource group. So what I will say is VM source, and this VM source is in the East US region, and this is my resource group is source resource group. And let me select Windows Server. I can change the size also here, so let's go and change the size. I will take a minimal size, a very minimal size where I can be charged. So this is 1 core and 2 GB RAM. This sounds good. So let me select this, and let me give the username. Let me give the password here. Okay, let's go and create this machine. Okay, so once we create the machine, this VM will be the part of the resource group, which is known as the source resource group. And now, because of some reason, because of maybe due to some restriction, or because of the quota reasons, or there is some need, I have to move this. So I will move this from the source resource group to the target resource group. So now let's see when this machine is created and see how exactly we can move this. So this is still in process, because since this is a VM, it needs a lot of things to be to go with VM. Like it will create the virtual network, it will create the public IP, and it will assign a disk to the VM and everything. So it takes time to spin up the entire VM, and that's the reason it takes time to show up on the portal. So let's wait here for a couple of minutes. Let me see. This is still in progress. So meanwhile, let's go on this and see how exactly they have done this. So on this portal, on this document of the Microsoft, what we can see is they're doing exactly the same thing. Now this is an example group where they're trying to select everything. So initially, what they're trying to do here is the move button will be like disabled in the resource group. So now you select the resource. The moment you select the resource, the move button will be active, and you can basically go and move your resources. So now when you select the move, what happens? You get the three different options here. So we will see the three different options here. This is still in progress. So now the first option is to move to another resource group. This is what exactly we are doing right now in the hands-on. So you're moving from one resource group, the VM from one resource group to the another resource group. Now here, if you see here, they have selected along with the VM, the IP, the network, and everything, and then they are moving the entire set to the new resource group. And the second option is move to the another subscription, where we have seen in the diagram above. So where you can go and move from the entire source to the destination to the target subscription here. And the third, I think this is the region one. Yeah, you can move from one region to another region. For example, say right now, if my resource group, in our case, it is in the East US. So now I'm moving from East US to the Central US. But but I'm moving from the same resource group. They're in the same subscription, but their location is different. But in this case, maybe in another region, your subscription is in another region, and you are trying to move from region 1 to region 2. That's also possible, but we are covering here a simple case of moving from one resource group to another resource group which is in the same subscription, which we saw up in the diagram here. So to keep it simple, so I am within this in this diagram, I am moving from this resource group, which is my source, to my target. Okay, so here the deployment is complete. So this is what the steps are given here. So we have to follow these steps exactly what they have given here. So we are moving here. This is what exactly we have three options here. Now we will see how exactly we can do it here. So now what I will do is I will go back to my resource group, which is my source resource group. And yep, I will select everything. The reason I'm selecting everything because this VM machine, it needs, for this VM machine to work, it needs the public address, the public IP, as well as the network security group in which this VM belongs to. And then it has created a disk, which is the OS disk, which is having the Windows installed on it, which is again attached to this VM machine. And there is again a default a virtual network which is created for this VM where this VM belongs to. So the best idea, or the best step would be, the process would be to select everything, all the dependent resources which is linked with this VM, and move everything from resource group 1 to resource group 2. Okay, so let's see how I can move this from resource group 1 to resource group 2, which is my target one. Let me see here. Yes, this is an option, and moving to another resource group. So let's see how exactly this goes. So I've selected everything, and let's see, I can get my target resource group, and let's see how it goes here. So again, this would take some time because this is moving the entire resources, like which is linked with the VM. So this may take some time. So let's again go back to the document and see what exactly they've given here. So they are doing the same thing. So this is what we selected everything. We selected a destination group, and then finally when you see OK, it moves everything. So it has moved 7 resources, or so whatever the resources which is linked with this VM has been moved. And yes, so when it is complete, you will get the notification results here, the way it is given here. So let's go back and see. So this is still in process, this is still validating. So let me pause the video and come back again, because this may take some time. So let me do it and see how much time it takes. So again, so it took like nearby 5 to 6 minutes to move the entire resources. So if you see here, now moving the resources have been completed. So if you see here, I have moved everything from my source resource group to the target resource group. But if you see, the subscription remains the same, which is Azure Demo subscription. So we are in the same subscription, but we are in the different resource groups. And one resource group was in East US and second was in Central US. So this is what our use case was here. So let's go and see, can I see the entire resources in my target resource group? Yep. So now if you see here, my entire target resource group has all these resources which I created in the source resource group. Now if you see here, nothing is here. Everything has been moved successfully from source to the target resource group. So again, just to summarize this video, what exactly we have done here. So we were in the same subscription and I moved from this source to destination. So these were two different resource groups and I moved my virtual machine from the source to the target, and the source resource group was in East US and my target was in Central US. But you can even have your source and the target resource group in the same region. Maybe you have both the source and the target in the East US or maybe in the Central US. But just for the sake of making it like a little bit different, I took a resource group in the two different regions in our case. So hopefully this video was useful and it cleared some or it gave some insight and gave some value how exactly we can move the resources. And the third option what we discussed was here was to move across the region. So what I think here to move across the region was, maybe your resources are in the US region and you want to move the entire resources from US region to maybe Europe region or Asia region. This would be the third option in this in the Azure portal, to move across to the another region. But we can within the resource group also, within the same region also, we can move from a source group to the target group, and they're in the two different region but within the US. And that third option what I showed right now, maybe that would help us out to move from Asia to Europe or maybe from Europe to US, something of this kind. But to keep it simple, I think this was useful and it cleared or gave some insights and inputs of how exactly we can do this. So hopefully this was helpful. So now the last thing what we can do is we can just go and delete the resource groups and the target group. This is very important because if you don't do this, Azure would charge you for the resources which is up and running. So now what I can do is I can go in the target group and directly I can go and say delete the resource group. When I say the delete resource group, it will delete everything in that resource group. So that's the beauty of the resource group. So I don't have to go and select each and every resources and delete it, but I can go and delete the entire resource group. So let me delete the entire resource group here. And I will also go to my source resource group and I will delete this. Even though this is empty, I don't want anything to be charged on my credit card. So I will go and delete this also. So this will help us out and this will make sure everything is in place and we are not charged by Azure on this. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys, and thanks a lot for watching the video. Thank you very much.